revisiting my dreams with the king.
Yeah.
All right. I know you're a stage performer, but you gonna stand up in a whole hour and a half interview?
Yeah, if I need to sit, I will. But I'm fidgety, so if I sit down, I'll be rocking and doing that. And if I do this, I'll stay in frame and I'll be.
I ain't mad at it. That's all part of your energy. That's a part of who you are as an artist. It's a part of who you are as a creator. So let's keep it.
I'm cool. I can do it. Good. I can do it.
How you been? Just in general, how you been?
Been great. It's been cool. 2025 kind of walked past me.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fast. But it's been good. I can't complain. Things are going well.
Start of the year treating you well.
Yeah.
You got big plans for this year? Like just in general, anything big coming up the pipe that we could talk about it later, but you got any major plans for 2026?
Yeah, like 2026 is going to be crazy because my album is coming out in 2026 under my new record label. My big thing, I'm dropping my first single on my birthday on January 21st. So exciting.
Awesome. And, that birthday's around the corner.
Yeah. And oh my God.
And were you a Capricorn?
I'm an Aquarius.
So you start the Aquarius cycle.
Yeah, I'm on the cusp. I could be either or, but I'm an Aquarius. Like I'm a straight up Aquarius. My dad's a Capricorn, and we both talk about all that time. I'm like, yeah, I ain't you. You ain't. I like, no, I'm over here. I'm over here.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I'm Capricorn too. I'm on the first day of Capricorn on December 22nd. So I probably could go either way, but I'm clearly Capricorn.
Capricorn, like you feel it? You on the cusp too?
I feel on the cusp, but I'm
you being a little Sagittarius sometimes.
Okay, I let that creep out every now and then. Yeah, for sure. They say, if someone won't give you a seat at the table, create your own table. You
right.
know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's what you got to do. And then you end up being, the server and all of the people sitting at the table eating too.
And I forget that.
Yo, good people, welcome to another episode of The RYD, a journey to your dreams. I'm your host, Johnny King III, aka Still Chill Leroy, and this is the Revisit Your Dreams podcast right here on the Revisit Your Dreams channel, exclusively on YouTube.com. We have a very special show, just like always, but a few housekeeping notes to take into consideration as we start this episode. This is an episode in the beginning of season 3. Season 1's episode, the first episode of season 3 has already released at the time of this recording. This is one of the first episodes being recorded in 2026. So, bam, I am very excited to have this guest here. Very excited to have my guest on the show. As you can see, the backdrop is even different. This is the first time that I've hosted a guest on the episode with this style of backdrop. This style, if you watched on Christmas Day, our inaugural RYD award show, our RYD award show, I introduced this backdrop. So welcome, Bam, to the new set for season 3 for 2026. I'm excited to have you.
I'm so proud of you. This is so cool. I love it. I love it.
Thank you so much, Bam. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and just introduce my guest. But before I do, I want to remind you what we're doing here at Revisit Your Dreams. At Revisit Your Dreams, we provide inspiration, motivation, encouragement. We explore real life stories of trial, error, and success, and maybe even provide a few laughs along the way. Today's episode is titled, When Hip-Hop Culture Becomes a Way of Life. My very special guest today was raised in D.C. and currently resides in Nashville, Tennessee. She is a career hip-hop culturalist, spoken word performer, and a recording artist. She is the founder of Love is Life Entertainment, and in 2025 earned and signed a recording contract with Elation Records. She is a sharp lyricist, an engaging storyteller, and a seasoned stage performer. She is the producer and host of CultureVille TV on Access Nashville, a public broadcast station in 19 counties in Middle Tennessee. She appeared in the MTV docuseries True Life, I'm a Battle Rapper, where she competed in a fierce competition of MCs called the Rap Olympics, held in Cleveland, Ohio. In dominating fashion, she finished fourth out of 20 MCs and became the first female to make a Rap Olympic team. We'll talk to her more about what that means shortly. She was a host and a reporter for Streets Magazine in the DMV, where she conducted interviews with such hip hop greats as Big Daddy Kane, Mobb Deep, Devin the Dude, and others. In 2015, she released her first solo album, Who I Am, and is currently working on new material to be released in the near future. If you are an MC, male or female, don't estimate her because I promise you, she'll give you that work. Please welcome to the show my very special guest, prolific MC and a real one, down to earth, around the way girl, my friend JusBam. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I need to sample that. That was a dope intro. Put that in
For
the
sure.
intro
Put that on the
on
album.
the album. Yes.
Yeah.
It is so good,
Well,
man. It's so good to see you, to talk to you, hang out with you. Like, oh my God. So
for
thank you
sure, this is
so
gonna be
much. That
fun.
was dope. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
Bill.
yeah. Bam be doing it. Yeah. I like to start off each episode. This is a perfect segue. I like to start off each episode by letting our audience know how I know each guest. At least so far as season one, season two, and into season three, every guest that I'm interviewing is somebody that I know personally, somebody that I've had some type of relationship with, whether I went to high school, college with them, I've worked with them in the past, coached with them on some level of capacity. Bam, I'm in the music industry, so is Bam. Bam's been probably more deeper into the industry than as I am, but I first met her at Revis Mitchell's studio about I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 years
That
ago.
was
It
a
was,
while
I think it
ago.
was
Yeah.
before, right? You were
I
recording
think
that
I
first
was still
album, Who I
doing who
Am.
I am at the time. Yeah. We
Yeah,
were at the
yeah.
beginning of it too
hmm
when you came by.
I remember that moment. Just any brief feedback that you have about our first interactions?
I just feel like I honestly I thought we knew each other longer than that. I thought we went back to TSU days because I've known Rev since he was in Utopia State. So
Okay,
in
yeah.
my brain, I thought we knew
We
each
may
other
have.
way longer than that. So my initial, I think we just clicked. We've
Yeah.
always had that chemistry of uh, friendliness and like family vibe. And I
hmm
just know we can talk about music all day. Like, oh
All
my
day.
God, we could just. It's like talking to your cousin now. That's why it's like,
hmm
really, that's when we first met. I
We,
could have
we,
sworn we knew
we
each other way longer.
I mean, maybe so. I tried to wreck my brain. Like, when did I first meet Bam? But my first visual recollections that I could come up with
Was that
is
that at the
seeing you
house?
in Rev's studio that day, and I was like, maybe that's when I first met Bam, because that's as far back as my brain would go. But I've been around Rev before that time, so I may have met you,
Hmm.
back in the past, and we may have crossed paths, briefly and had some conversations. I don't know, but it always feels natural. It always
And
feels just like
yeah, it just feels
normal
like
camaraderie.
we
Artists
fam,
doing artist
right?
things.
But I just always felt like we were fam. Like, and I've known Just for longer than I've known Rev. I knew we met in college too. So
Shout out to the homies Just One Thomas and Revis Mitchell. Yeah, y'all little plug for y'all, little plug. But let's go ahead and get started. It was great meeting you then, or if I met you before then, and we talked. It was great developing our friendship and maintaining it over the years. I followed your career since Who I Am, that release, and followed your single releases and your CultureVille TV episodes and things like that. So it's a pleasure to have you here, Bam.
I am so happy that you agreed to do this. So I love it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, let's get to it. I got a slate of questions, so here we go. You performed in front of large audiences. You've recorded albums, competed in rap competitions versus both male and female MCs. Tell us about that moment that you were first introduced to hip hop and how rapping became your passion.
Oh, you know, Rapping did not become my passion until I got to college. Honestly, I started my career in acting. Um, I've been acting since probably about 10 years old, and I did plays and musicals, and then I went to Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts for high school. I went to performing arts school for middle school, so I didn't get a passion for saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be a rap artist," probably till I was in my 20s, and it
Mm,
came because I would do spoken word and I would do freestyle, and but I didn't know how to write a song. Doing spoken word is a
mhm,
lot different than making a rap.
mhm,
You don't need bars and timing and all that. You just say it. And
mhm,
shout out to my boy Power Shadows. We were freshmen, and he was like, "Well, it's the same thing, you know." So he had me write numbers on a piece of paper, and I wrote 1 through 16, and he said, "Go in there, and every time you say a line, just write it on the number, and go all the way down." And then when I finished it, he was like, "You just wrote 16 bars."
mm.
So I was like,
Word.
huh, okay, you know. So that's when I kind of started honing and developing my rap skill. But my true talent come from improv and spoken word. That's how I was able to do the freestyles because you do that in theater.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's to for you to start. First of all, I didn't know that you started in theater. That's that's to start off. I didn't know you started in theater. So it and knowing that you do spoken word and you start off in theater explains to me now why your lyrics are so dynamic and your stage performances, are engaging.
I
Because
incorporate all
you,
those skills into it.
yeah,
I think about
yeah.
I get in my theater acting mode or whatever, and it comes out. And I think that's why a lot of people say my lyrics and my ad libs are so, dramatic and characteristic because I literally do go in the studio and I'm gonna do this ad lib in a different character, and
Hmm.
I'll change it to give it that vibe. My production team thinks I'm out my mind sometimes because
Yeah, you talented, Bam.
I'll label the ad libs different personalities. So
Hmm.
they're like,
Yeah, that's
but that's what it
so
came
that's
from.
dope, Bam. I'm impressed by that fact that you started out in acting school. I'm even more impressed that you, as being as prolific as an artist as you are as a rap, like I think you're extremely talented as a rapper. When I listen to your music, and I've listened to Who I Am, that album, of course, when you released it back in 2015, and I was listening to it then, but I went back just over these past few weeks and
Hmm.
listened to it again, like let me
Cool.
refresh where Bam was at, and
Yeah.
I'm like, man, Bam, you definitely got bars. You're definitely a storyteller. You're definitely creative with how you lay your lyrics. Your word choice is intentional. So
That's important.
yeah, I respect that. You don't say stuff just to be saying it. You're not just rhyming words just to be rhyming. Like every bar has a meaning to it. So I respect the heck out of that for sure.
And
And
I
to
I
go
mean to
ahead.
interrupt and say I get that from, I don't know if you saw a recent podcast I did with Khalil, but I get that from my cousin. My cousin, he's from New Jersey, and he was prolific MC. I mean, like the greatest of all. Like he was so good, and
Mhm.
from the very beginning, he was always like, "You're gonna speak with intent. Don't be saying words you don't know what they mean." Like he taught me my first rap, and before he would even let me go and perform it, I had to look up the words. I had to know an alternate meaning of the word, you know? And why are you saying it like that? Even in your style, he's like, okay, so when you
Mhm.
get to that line, do this. He was
Mhm.
very clinical, very serious, very, because he was an MC, like he was involved in hip hop.
Yeah.
And that, I carried that through everything, acting, everything else. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna
You
do
can't you can't beat that kind of training, and that kind of, somebody pouring into you as an artist, as a MC early on in your career. Most people don't ever hear those kind of words, don't ever get that kind of support or encouragement to follow their word choice down to the intent, down to the meaning, down to the expression, down to what you do, what you say after that. Like that's part of why your lyrics are the way they are, because if that was an early part of your training, that's amazing. And for you to have started at 20, in your 20s, rapping, going from spoken word into rapping, when I listen to your to your music, it doesn't sound like someone who started rapping when they was in their 20s. It sounds like this was some they've been doing you've been doing
Like
this
I
since you
woke
was
up
a
like this,
teenager.
and that's because of him. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
because when my first introduction, you asked how introduction to hip hop was him. Like we listened to KRS One, and we would go back, and he would explain to me what it means.
Mm,
He was 5%, so he was about discipline. He was about keeping your breath. He was about
hmm
being able to have cadence and all those things.
hmm
When I got older and started and told my parents like I want to be in theater, it was all of that. It was like, oh, this is the same. This is what he was teaching me very young. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to hang out with him. But he'd be like,
Yeah,
okay,
but you were soaking up game at
yeah.
the same time.
I was
Yeah.
soaking up game. I tell his kids all the time, man, I got the best game from him because he was just. And at that time, he wasn't like you're going to be a rapper. I wasn't even saying that, but I was
hmm
just so immersed in hip hop that he was like, "This is what it is. This is what
Yeah.
being an MC means. This is what that means. This is the culture." And from that, I would say I'm a child of hip hop. Like
Yeah.
I was raised by it. Everything about
That's why I titled this
me.
episode the way I did, when hip hop culture becomes a way of
it
life, because
it
that's what I see you as, a lifelong hip hop culturalist.
that's a perfect example because everything about me is part of that culture. From I never was I wish I was a break dancer though. I never was a break
Mm.
dancer. Can't dance.
you you don't have that part of the
I ain't
element, but
got
you got the
that.
rest of it,
Everybody ain't got all the
huh?
talents. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Right. That's why it's five of them. That's why
Right?
hip hop is so universal. Everybody can't
Can't
do
do
everything.
everything. Yeah, I
You
never
know what I'm
could break
saying?
dance. That's the only thing I tried and was like, okay, that
I
ain't
ain't never seen KRS-One break dance
me
either, and he
either.
the dopest, one of the dopest. So, so that's cool, man. Man, very interesting way that you started. Again, it's never too late to start. She started in her 20s.
hmm
Of course, she had someone helping her, showing her the way. Like, this is how you break down bars. This is how you make put intent and meaning in your
Your
word choice, and
words.
But that practice over and over and over helped you become the. You are a prolific artist at this stage of your career as a result of practicing those things over and over again. Let's move forward and learn a little bit more. You were the first female ever to make a rap Olympic team. Talk to us about what that was and how you landed in that spot.
So yeah, the a lot of people know the Rap Olympics because the Eminem story on 8 Mile. That was where he went. But I you have to the way the Rap Olympics works is you have to qualify, and then once you qualify, you get put on a team, and then when you go to the Rap Olympics, the first day your team competes. So you and whoever your team is competes with the other team, and then whoever wins from your team, you move to the next round, and then you go to there were like a couple of different little challenges and stuff, and then at the final, the last 20 from the teams compete for the championship, and it's like a bracket. So you go, you
Mhm.
whoever wins moves on. And to make the team, I had to go to Memphis. Well, there were like four different places that you could go and do the qualifying round. And I was like, ooh, Memphis. I'm going to go to Memphis because I
Mhm.
know, one, my friends in Nashville will come with me. So I'll have a
Right.
crowd.
Support.
And, and I'm familiar with those type of battle rappers. At this point, I've been battling for about 3 or 4 years. It's like a thing.
Mhm.
So I know I'm familiar, and I'm like, cool. And I didn't even know I was gonna qualify. I was just taking a gamble. It's like what could happen, you know.
Hmm.
Subsequently, it was being filmed, but like the entire experience was sporadic. Like I even told MTV, I'm like, okay, I'm putting in my bid to qualify, um, and we're gonna do the Memphis one, and they were like, okay, we get there, and first of all, I was in Orange Mail. So me and my friends were like, hey, don't start no shit, girl. You know what I'm
Right. Won't be no.
saying? Don't won't be none, you know.
Right.
And the oh my bad.
You
The
good.
organizers of the event were there, and me, I'm just doing my thing. I'm just battling. I'm going through rounds. I feel like I'm winning. I hadn't lost a round yet, you know. And then I even had a female that I battled. That never happens. You know, I'm
Mm.
always the only girl in the battles. And so I'm like, oh, this is great. And then they stop the competition. Like he's like, oh, we're just gonna stop for a minute. And he's like, can I see Bam to the stage? And I'm like, oh shit.
Mm.
Like they're gonna kick me out or something, you know.
Yeah.
And when I get up there, he's like, "Oh, we just want to let you know that you don't have to battle no more. You're on a team."
Yeah.
I was
You
like,
killed
"Oh
it
my
so
god,
bad. It
you
was like
scared me!
you
Don't do
done.
that!" You know.
Yeah.
And some of the members of my team were there, and these are like prolific battle rappers, like ones you know that you hear. They've been
Yeah.
on 106 Park. They were all like, "Yo, we so glad you're on our team. We gonna kill it. We gonna kill it." And then when we got to Ohio, it was just like our team was. I don't know. The zone that we had that first day
Mhm.
we didn't know each other. You know, like we didn't get a time. We didn't get time to hang out and be friends. We were just
Mhm.
all like laser focused. Like I
Mhm.
don't know. If the universe was like, put her on that team. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
everyone walked in. Nobody cared that I was female. Nobody cared. You know, they were all like, no, we've seen you. You're dope. Let's go.
Do your thing.
So
Yeah.
our team just was killing it all day, you know. And then when we got to the final round, uh, the last four people that were there was me, another Swan who was also being filmed by MTV. This one guy, I forgot his name. I'll think of it. And the guy who I was going to battle up against in the last round, the day before, he had like a little crash out moment, and he was freaking out. He
Mm.
was like, "I can't do this. I don't know if I'm good enough." And I gave him a pep talk. You
Mhm.
know, and I pulled him to the side, and I'm like, "You're crushing it. Don't let people get to you." Blah 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 blah. And as soon as it was time for us to go, I thought about that, and I just crushed all his little dreams.
Ah.
I was,
You're like,
you
yeah,
know,
I'm trying to help you hang in there,
I
but I
was
didn't know they was gonna
trying,
match
you
us up
know.
against each other.
So the crowd was like, ooh,
That's
ooh,
hilarious.
ooh, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, ooh, she know him. It's personal. I didn't, but I just pep talked him the day before,
Yeah,
and I was just like,
yeah.
oh, I used everything
Gotta use
all
it.
of it, and like he looked like he was about to cry,
Oh my
and I
God.
felt so bad, but I had to do it. You know,
Yeah, you had
I
to.
had to do
Competition
it.
is competition. You know what I'm saying? He gave you the
He
material.
gave me the
It's a battle
material.
rap.
It's a battle, right? And I didn't know I was going to go up against him. And all of us, you know, like after a couple of days of hanging out with these people, you're like, all right, if we go against each other, I ain't
Yeah,
gonna say that, you know. But
yeah,
when you up there, and you're like, ugh, win to
yeah.
win.
It's now or never. Yeah.
And then I'm still the only female to ever make a team. And then I made it to the final round, but I came in fourth place. I lost in the last round, the last
Yeah,
2-on-2 round, and and I think it's because at that point I have been battling for 3 days, and we got to that point,
yeah.
and there was no music. It was all acapella.
Acapella. Yeah.
So and they couldn't decide. And me and dude, we did three. We're like they kept going one more round, one more round. We can't decide. We can't decide. So that made me feel
Mm.
good. And but then I lost to, but the Swan beat me, and Swan ended up winning the
Okay.
whole thing. So I was like, cool. At least
So
I
at
got
least I lost to the
the
champ.
champ, you know.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah, and that's amazing for you to have done so well that they just said, you know what, let's stop the show.
We ain't gonna
We
keep.
not finna
Yeah,
exhaust her no more. She don't got to go through no more brackets. We just gonna put her in this spot.
she in
You
that.
know, that's like if you're watching college football right now, that's just like somebody saying, Miami, you ain't got to play Ole Miss. We just gonna put you in the national
Made
championship
it.
game against
Hmm.
Indiana and see what happens. You know that. So that's pretty dope. Man, that's very impressive, Bam. For you, what I'm more impressed by is your ability to mentor someone and then realize the moment on stage, like, yeah, but he shouldn't. He gave me.
Shouldn't have told me
He
all
opened the door. Yeah,
that.
it ain't my fault you crashed out, man.
Right,
Like I was just trying to
right. I
help
was
you.
trying to help you, and like his car was breaking down and stuff. Oh, I used all of that, and I just
Oh man, is that still online somewhere?
I they gave me a bunch of footage, and I've been trying to go through it to see if I can find the last battles, but
Hmm.
but it's weird because it's a cappella, so they had to cut a lot of stuff, and so you can see the words at the bottom. You know when you do,
Yeah,
because the crazy thing about doing MTV True Life, you don't know what your episode is about.
right.
They just film you, film you, film you, film you. When everyone else saw it, that was the first time I saw it. I
Okay.
didn't know I would what they were going to show. Half the stuff you don't remember. Like,
So
oh
the entire rap battle was aired on MTV. I
yeah,
mean, edited, but aired on MTV.
yeah. They followed me around or came and my did the reality thing for 6 months. So they went with me to Memphis. They went with me to
Wow.
Cleveland. They went to a bunch of smaller battles that I did in DC to shows. We did Love Noise in Nashville with Eric. They filmed that. So
Hmm.
over the time,
Shout out to Eric Holt.
you forget all the stuff you filmed because
Hmm.
you. And then when it came out, they made me the underdog of the story. So like it looked as though that was my first time being in a battle. They didn't even say that I've been doing it. Just they that was my
Yeah.
storyline. So
Hmm.
when it aired, a lot of people were calling me like, "Oh no, they ain't say that you did. Why they ain't trying to make it seem like you ain't never?" I was like, "That's the storyline, y'all. That's how they do it." Because other people
Yeah.
were like, "They show this, they show that," but it was to show me rising to the top, I guess.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when I got to
That.
the Rap Olympics, all that stuff I did, being the first girl, getting to the finals, when the show aired, it kind of was like people thought I didn't deserve that spot.
Hmm.
But it was the narrative, how they put the story. It's just
Yeah.
how they do.
Yeah. And it's a TV show. They have to
Yeah.
create a narrative. They have to create some flow to it
Hmm.
and draw some suspense into it.
Make
And
it look,
that was a way to Yeah, that was a way to draw some suspense in there. But that's still dope either way, no matter what, because you still had to battle against both male and female. You
uh,
still had to get your bars had to match up for even the people on stage that you're battling to respect you enough for when they put you in that spot.
right.
For them to not be like, what the hell's wrong with y'all? Why y'all just gonna just put her in there like that? Nobody probably said nothing. It was like, well, hey, she deserved that
She earned
spot.
it when I got there. And then at
Yeah.
the last night of the Rap Olympics, you have to imagine like all of us are like already freaking out. We're at the Rap Olympics, but then when you go up to
Hmm.
do your round, Sway is right here, Razcast, Papoose. You're like, oh,
Who's
oh
up there?
wow, wait. You know what I'm saying? Shade
Yeah.
45 was there,
Yeah.
recording as every rap magazine within 50 miles came. So it
Hmm.
was like, whoa, you better shine, girl.
Yeah, that's a big stage.
You
That's a
better.
big stage.
You better. This is
That,
the moment you've been looking for. You better shine. So I feel like I
yeah,
didn't have an
that's
option.
that's dope. No, you didn't, and you stepped up to it. That's dope, man. Uh, Great experience too. Not too many people have had the opportunity to one be on MTV, two be have their life for 4, 5, 6 months followed around different battle. I mean, just for you to say you've battled that had that many battles,
Hmm.
that alone puts you in a different spot than most hip hop artists. Even me, I'm putting me in that in that category because I've had some hip hop battles. I've been in some ciphers and stuff like that. I've rapped against people, but I ain't never done anything close to what you've done. Not even close. And probably would be a little bit like intimidated to do it. So more respect to you for stepping up to the plate in that area.
The craziest thing is
Um,
once you do something like that, can't never lose.
yeah, yeah, because they,
Yeah, you and now and then you're always someone always wants to battle you.
yeah,
Someone's always
yeah.
that's the whole
Well, at least you ended up to the point where like, hey, if I ever see her, I don't want no smoke. I
pat all
can't hear you.
I think I
Oh, I can hear you now. It just cut out for a
think I
second.
hit the button by accident. It's crazy because I've had instances where they would call my name to go come up and call the next person's name, the person don't come.
That's respect.
Yeah,
That's respect.
they won't do it. They will
Yeah.
say and then they'll pick somebody else. I've had people come up to me before a battle and go, if I get you, you know what I'm saying, can you not diss me like
Lighten up
that?
on me.
Yeah. And I'll be like, but you gonna diss me,
That's
right? You
hard,
know what
bro.
I'm saying? You gonna diss me
Do
off.
you realize it's a competition, homie?
Right. Like but you was ready to call me all kinds of names. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's amazing, man. That feeling, and you're so humble with it. Like you know that you've been there and you've done that, and you even destroyed some people, but you still have that humility about you, and that demeanor. That kind of, I guarantee you're underestimated immediately when you walk. Not just because you're a female,
Hmm.
but your presence on stage is probably like, I'm just here.
I'm
We'll
here, I'm
see what
chilling, we
happens.
cool
And then,
till they say
yeah,
no.
oh God. All right. Last year, last year in 2025, you entered into a recording agreement with Elation Records.
Yeah.
First off, congratulations on that
Thank you.
accomplishment.
Thank you.
Proud of you for that, sister, for sure. With that said, what does artist independence mean to you, and how are your new partners at Elation Records pushing you forward?
I feel like I wouldn't have never even entertained this deal if they didn't have the same process as me as independent because w- it's crazy how it started because the CEO of Groove Relations, Early Thornton, is a saxophone player. He's a
Mhm.
very accomplished jazz musician, and he reached out to me because he's doing an album, and he wanted a hip hop verse on one of the songs he was doing, and he was like, "I heard you do spoken word and rap and jazz, so would you be interested?" Heck yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's my
Mhm.
jam, you know. So they sent me the track, and when I sent it back, I did a spoken word version, and then I did a straight up hip hop version, like rap version.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Hey, put it to the wind," you know what I'm saying? And they called me back, and they were like, "We love it. We don't know which one to pick. Both of them are so freaking awesome." Uh,
Put them both on
right.
now.
And then so they asked for a meeting with me, and in the first meeting it was just like we just clicked automatically. They do jazz, of course, and internationally they do Latin pop, gospel, and sort of like a Latin hip hop, and they wanted
Mhm.
to start a conscious rap section of their label. I was like, well, you made the right
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
What?
You got the right one.
You want, oh, okay, come, let's talk about it, so and then they're telling me their vision, and I'm just like, well, that's my vision, like
Hmm.
what I'm on. And it's like, and, we're looking for an artist who does a lot of cursing. We're not really with the glorification of sexualism. I'm like, dude, I've been trying to get over that hurdle for 10 years of the,
Hmm.
and it was just like a natural chemistry. So when they offered me a deal, it wasn't even like, here's a deal. They came to me and said, we want you. What are your terms? What do
Mm.
you want? What do you want from this? What do you want to get out
Yeah,
of this?
people, yeah, companies don't really do that. Record
No,
labels don't do that.
nobody has ever asked me that question before. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't so, this is what we want. It's like, how can we help you?
Hmm.
So the entire contracting process, I was never a stranger in it. I was able to say, I want to control my image. I want to be in the meetings. I want to be able to discuss what happens. Everything I asked for, they were like, sure, that's
Wow.
not unreasonable, because they're a major independent. So it's not like
Mm-hmm.
they're not a universal music group, but their mind state is international. They're
Mm-hmm.
based out of Spain, and everyone is all in these different places. So one thing I've definitely learned working with them is to get out of my own brain, about what I thought being a hip hop artist was, getting streams
Mm-hmm.
in the US, being no. They're like, think bigger than that. Think bigger than that. We deal with Australia, New Zealand,
Mm.
so we're going we out of here with this U.S. stuff. Oh, they got a problem with you not being overly sexualized. Cool, don't do it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
get to make choices, and the other thing about them is that I don't have to explain. I don't have to go. Well, see, I don't wear the little sex. This is what
Mm-hmm.
my music is about. They actually went and listened and to my music and to different things that I've done, and so it's not even a question. It's just like, okay, that's what you want to do. How do we make it work? You know, oh,
Yeah.
that's what you want. How do we make that work? Even working on this production has been amazing. I've always done everything myself.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll send them a something I'm like, oh, this is cool. I think can we do something with that? A couple of days later, they're like, what do you think of this one? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So and then I do my thing. I send it back. They send it. It's I don't know. Sometimes I have to ask myself, is this real? Am I dreaming? Like, how did it come to play? And
Yeah.
it's a family. It's literally they respect my opinion. They understand that I know when I'm talking that I've done this, that I'm capable. And honestly, I'm my one of my bosses. He says all the time, "You're like a dream artist. You tell us what you finna do, and you gonna make it." You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so used to that, though. I'm
Yeah.
just so used to that. So it's I think the biggest challenge for me is letting other people do things. Because
Mm-hmm.
I make my own album covers, I do my own videos, I make my own promo. I don't have to do all that.
Yeah, you got a team now.
Yeah, I got a team of people that's like, okay, so we want you to put, we're gonna do this campaign for you. This is where it's at. So
And the amazing part of that is that you still get to be in control of what
yeah,
the final outcome is, what the
yeah,
final output is. That's the amazing part. You get full support, but you also get to say, I don't want that to be the final
yeah.
product.
It's
I don't want this as a part of my image.
yes, and they're not trying to
That's
dictate to
dope.
me what my image is. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Or what your sound is.
or what my sound. Right, right, right. You tell us how you want it to be.
Yeah.
So that that's
That's
been
dope.
amazing.
I know there's a lot of artists that if any artist watches this, there that has signed a record contract, probably envying you right now. Like, I wish I was in a record contract situation where they gave me that much control over what I do
Yeah,
and supported me in the same way that you're getting supported. That's amazing, especially when they say we ain't even tripping over what's going on in the U.S. We're trying to make you
they're trying
global.
to make you go
If it pops off in the U.S., cool,
great,
but that's not our
but that
focus.
is not right. Our focus is
That's
to
what's
get
dope.
you seen, to get you charted, to get, and these people, they got Grammys and nominations. It's I've been an independent underground artist so long that we think that's our thing. One
Hmm.
thing with them is that they're showing me the only reason you've been an underground independent all this long is because you didn't have the opportunities.
Hmm.
That's the only
Yeah.
difference between you and them. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and I get to see that. And even with my record label, I started Love is Life Entertainment in what 2005. So it's like, am I giving up everything I've worked for and saying
How do you feel? How did that feel to you? Or what is the answer to that question?
I went through a couple emotions because I had to go in after I signed the contract and pull down anything that said Love is Life. That was
Okay.
very hard.
Because it's now it's groove
Yeah, I
elation.
can't.
Yeah.
It was hard to do that because I was like, oh,
If you guys are wondering what Love Is Life is, you can see on the poster behind her that was her the record label that she established for herself that she was recording under, and now she's Groove Elation Records, so she has to kind of give up that moniker in
and
the meantime.
change it to theirs, which I get it, but I didn't think it was gonna be that hard. It was like,
Personally, like
yeah, it was
interpersonally
like
for you.
I had a moment of personal. Oh wow, But then, as I after I did it, I was like, okay, it's not like they stripped me of who I was. You know,
Hmm.
it's just
Hmm.
more so okay. I need to represent this brand just like I represented the other one, and then
Hmm.
and then Derek, he was like, well, we're not asking you to say you ain't love his life no more. Say that all you want to. That's something you built. We're not trying to
Yeah.
take that from you. So don't ever feel like that. And if you want to do a show with your old music, do it. If you want to, you know, and the song that I'm releasing on my birthday, they took samples from the Who I Am album and put it in the track. So it kind of like made
Oh,
me
dope.
kind of made it all like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know how hard that. I told my mom, I was like, that was hard. That was really
Hmm.
hard to do. To it's one thing to sign a deal,
Hmm.
and it's another thing to be like, okay, it's the end of an era
Yeah.
of even though Love Is Life isn't going away, it's
Hmm.
just it's not. It's like my baby. So that
I get it. It's like if let's say this channel happened to get picked up by some other major network and they want to change the name of it from Revisit Your Dreams to something else. I'm like,
and then you got
yeah,
to
but
go back and
that's
take your name off of stuff and
yeah. You're like, I'm happy about this experience, but
yeah.
that's my baby.
And then you look at all the stuff, and then I had to go and like, oh wow, now you're going through the history of how long you're trying to
Yeah.
find things. So I think that was the hardest part for me is
Hmm.
to literally say, okay, I'm not Love Is Life anymore. Hmm.
Yeah. But you still are Love Is Life.
Yes,
Like you always that's Love Is Life is who you are as a being,
right.
as a human being. It's not just a label or a brand, it's who you are. So that'll never escape you. And all of your fans that, followed you before you signed with Group Relation Records, they're gonna always, you know, relate to Love Is Life
And
because
come
that's
back
who you
to it.
are.
And then CultureVille's under there, so it still exists, but
Yeah.
it was just
But the dope part of it is that they fully support it anyway, and they
anyway.
still want you to represent
Yeah,
you.
they still want
And again, I can only imagine reading that contract and being excited about everything in it until you got to that line. Like, oh, my heart started beating a little bit on
yeah,
that one.
not real. It's like, oh wait, I didn't think about
Is this
that.
gonna make me not sign? Like, I gotta.
It was just like, but I get it because if I'm thinking as a business person, if I signed an artist to Love His Life, I don't want them walking around with their old label on their shirt and stuff. I
Yeah,
want them to represent me. But
yeah,
I think, but
but
after
that's
that, it's
amazing
cool.
still.
And also in that same moment, once I
Hmm.
did it, I was like, hey, new beginning.
Hmm.
It kind of made it clear that we are transitioning into something new. Gave
Hmm.
me that feeling. And when you're revisiting your dream, it was like full circle. Because when I was younger, before I started my record label, I was chasing a record deal. And I got discouraged because nobody was hearing me. Nobody wanted me to be me. They wanted me to be what everybody else was. And that's
Hmm.
why I started Love Is Life. So to be
Hmm.
here and to say, oh, well, look where you got to it and you got it the way you wanted it.
Hmm.
So,
And you still can kind of have it the way you want it.
yeah.
Like it doesn't sound to me like they're putting any roadblocks in front of you.
Mm-mm.
It
No.
sounds like they're opening up the floodgates to say, hey, all we're doing is going to push you forward. So that's amazing. I'm proud of you for that. I'm happy that, you're one of the few independent artists that I know on a personal level that has signed a record contract and still able to maintain their independence.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect that a lot. Um, we're going to push forward a little bit. Let's talk about the state of affairs in hip hop currently. Okay.
Please.
As we have phased out of the mumble rap era, it seems that it appears we have phasing out of the stunt culture and murder music. It appears we're starting to phase out of that. What do you think has been missing from hip hop that could restore the essence of the art back to its original form and intent?
I already see it happening though, in 2025 alone. If you look at the album, okay, I'm going to say this. The best thing they ever did was make that whole political campaign about how there's no rap in the top 40 charts. That was a
Mm-hmm.
wake up call to me
Yep.
for people to say that. But then when I reflect, Kwame had an album in 2025.
Oh.
Nas, Rakim, Jada Kids, all these people who are bringing the nostalgia of lyricism back and
Mm-hmm.
showing them, oh, we're still marketable. Yeah, they ain't going platinum and doing, those numbers, but the audience is like, ooh, you know, and it's sort of
Yeah.
turning the tide. One thing I'm definitely seeing a trend in, we kind of overly sexualize lyrics in women. People are
Mm-hmm.
starting to say, okay, wait a minute, y'all going a little too far, and I always thought that. I was like, yeah, we pushing
Pushing that needle too much.
a
Yeah.
little too much. And one thing I always said, if you think about it, back in the late '90s, and everybody was on that bandwagon of respecting women, and we're gonna burn the CDs, and we're gonna do this and do that. How do you get on your soapbox when the person you're trying to protect is the person saying it?
Mm-hmm. It's
So
hard.
we
Yeah.
kind of forgot, what we were trying to do, and
Mm-hmm.
in the power. I love the fact that
Mm-hmm.
women have a say. I love the fact that women get the same marketing budgets as everyone else now, because when I started in hip hop, that was not the case. You knew that going in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about all of that, but I do think that the needle is turning. I think that people are going back and looking for that nostalgia, that feeling we had when we
Mm-hmm.
heard Tribe Called Quest, or the first time we heard Outkast. And then I look at the
Mm-hmm.
new kids like L.A. Russell, like I met Alfred Banks recently, like all of
Yes.
these new school people who are giving that same energy, and it's selling. That's the important. We've always been
Mm-hmm.
this, but now we can sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see it coming. I see it coming. But music is like that. Music is like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm releasing my album on vinyl.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing! I got to get one of those. I'm
yeah.
a vinyl collector. I love vinyl. So
I'm
soon as
sending
it
you one.
releases, let
Yeah,
me
I'm
know.
definitely going to
Send me-
send you
I-
one.
and I'm sending you the bread for it too, because I appreciate it. But I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna pay you for it, but because I want to. I'm looking forward to that, Bam. And yes, definitely things are changing. The release methods are changing. Like you said,
Yeah,
people aren't going platinum as much. Their streaming is up and down these days. People are selling albums on their own independently
independently.
through platforms like Bandcamp and Even and stuff like that. Some people are actually just selling them straight off their own websites these days. So
That's
the
the new
growth you
thing.
mentioned, La Russell, I had to correct you a little bit just because he from the hometown. If I didn't say nothing, they'd be like, he didn't say nothing. It's not L.A. Russell, it's La Russell.
Look, oh, I
Uh,
keep saying it. I said that
that's
on.
all right.
Look, okay,
No,
Laura.
no, no problem. I just know that my people from Vallejo, if I didn't say nothing, they'd be
My
like,
bad, Laura. So I
let
love
that fly.
you. So I'm gonna get that together, right?
That's all
Just it,
right.
but
Shot, but I knew who you were talking about,
hmm
and the audience knew who you were talking about when you said that. Because I even called him L.A. Russell when I first learned who he was, because I didn't know it was La Russell. He had what happened was, I think I called him La Russell at first, and then he started doing some promotion when he had his freestyle on what's the hip hop show out of L.A. Leakers or
I
whatever it's
think that's
called.
why I thought it was LA too, because he was on
Yeah, I
there.
think I think that's what happened. And I think that was a period of time where he had to let everybody that was listening to him know, nah, it ain't L.A.
Yeah,
Russell, it's
Laura.
La Russell.
But I
Yeah. So
feel
anyway,
I feel like that's part of the tide that's changing, because people forget hip hop started because it wasn't for the money.
Right.
If you go and talk to hip hop heads or the original, there was no money. There was no
Mm-hmm.
stardom. There was no, you know, we got there at some point, but I think now that artists and fans are starting to want people, because I mean, if you only doing it for the money,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
You'll do
timeless.
anything.
You'll do anything. It's not timeless. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad the mumble rap and the drowned down lyricism, because
Yeah.
I remember a time that if you was an MC and you came out sounding whack, people would call your bluff. No one
Yes,
was holding
definitely.
these people accountable. They were
Mm-hmm.
just letting it go.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my biggest issues with the industry when it comes to hip hop now is if they don't think an artist is markable enough for R&B or pop, they bring them in as a hip hop rap artist
Mm.
because
And
we
try to
accept
convert
it.
them in
We
that
don't
way.
care.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
use us to get acceptance, and then you
Mm-hmm.
listening to their album, I'm like, this is singing.
This ain't hip hop.
Yes,
What is
they
this?
singing this whole album.
Yeah.
It'd be one song with a rap in it, and the rest of it's R&B,
And that's a feature.
and that's a feature.
That that bar is a feature. He or she still singing.
But you used hip hop culture to get a name for yourself. I think that's
Hmm.
that's the problem. You know,
That's the big
I'm
part of the
glad
problem.
we I'm
That's
glad we checking people. I'm glad we
yeah.
checking people now, because that's not how it's supposed to be. Hip hop was supposed to be a place where you can express what's not in the mainstream. And we
Hmm.
we lost sight of that a little bit. But thanks to people like Redman, whose album is dope. Thanks to people like Eclipse. Thanks to people, they're going, "Hey, look, let me break something down to y'all. What y'all
For
think
real.
it is not what." And
What it is.
yeah, I think we don't teach it anymore. We
Hmm.
don't.
We lost that essence, a little bit for sure. And it takes, to me, I think, like companies like Groove Elation Records, label, to help bring that back in hip hop. You're going to have more labels that are more open to allow the artists to be themselves. Because I think a lot of, half of the artistry that we look at as, you know, out of here kind of music,
Hmm.
is promoted by the label. The record label says, "We're paying you this money. We want you to say this. We want you to put out this image. We want you to put out this content in this song and cut those songs out.
Hmm. And we're
Those
gonna
songs that are
control the
uplifting,
narrative. We're the
yeah,
positive stuff.
half
We
of
don't
it is
want to hear
that.
that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, half of it is that. But then you do have the other half of kids is I'll say anything for a dollar. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And that's the part that I think is getting cut out. Like eventually, that say anything for a dollar is getting cut out because, like you said, hip hop is about being an MC is about skill. It's about cadence. It's about timing. It's about rhythm. It's about patterns. It's about intent. It's about intellectualism. It's about culturalism, spiritualism. Like, and when you release music that doesn't deliver on any of those levels, it's just sound.
It's
It ain't hip
sound.
hop, you know. It might be something else, but it ain't hip
It ain't
hop,
hip hop, right?
you know.
And I think that artists are now making albums with intent. Like, when I make an album, I want, if you've never heard of me before, by the time you get to the end, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of feel like I know her a little bit. Like she did, she that, or
Hmm.
whatever. That was the whole point of who I am, because I had so many people coming after me telling me I didn't deserve the shot that I got. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, look, this is who I am. You tell me, did I
Hmm.
deserve the shot? And that was
Hmm.
the whole intent. Because I feel like if music doesn't take you on a journey, if it doesn't make you feel a certain way, if it doesn't
Hmm.
inspire you, what are you doing it for? Like,
Yeah.
what? And it needs to be timeless. Like you said, you
Hmm.
pulled out Who I Am recently and did another listen, and
Oh
oh,
man, I was listening to Wise Man,
ah,
and
yeah.
just the lyrics. I'm like, I remember hearing that song, but when you first released it, but maybe I wasn't on my mind wasn't on the same wavelength with the content of that song at that time. But I listened to it again the other day, and I was like, this is a dope ass song, man." Because of the storytelling and the intent behind it, and the fact that you are when you said when the album's called "Who I Am," to me, Wise Man is a part of a is part of reflection of who you
Oh,
are.
it's part of it.
Um,
Yep.
be, Even though you're talking about an experience with relationships and stuff like that, I got a even a deeper sense of who Bam was by listening to that
And
song.
here, yeah,
And that's what real hip hop
that's what
does.
it's supposed to do. And it's funny because when I did Wise Man, I told Rev, I was like, is this too personal? Like it
Hmm.
kind of feels personal. He was like, that's the point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You felt like that when you wrote it, so somebody else is gonna feel like that too. And I was like, yeah. And then I thought, well, somebody's gonna say a song about them, like. And then he was like, so.
so if the shoe fit,
Well,
wear
if it's about
it.
you. And so I went in with that attitude, and Wise Man today is one of my most requested things at shows. People always want me to do it. People love that
Yeah,
song, and yeah, I got somebody calling me going, "Oh, you had to talk about me in that song," and I was like, "Well, it wasn't about you, but the fact that I
right.
done said that to you before and it
Hmm.
resonated, that lets me know I did it right." Because
Exactly,
you heard it
exactly.
the
That's
way I
dope.
said it to you that day.
Yeah,
That's the point.
and it
And
hit
then
doggone
and
holler
then,
anyway.
yeah,
So
and it hit, and you felt it. Then good, great,
good point
point
made.
made.
Point made. And that song "Under Stress" is a dope song.
Mhm. One of my
Let Your Light is it Let Your Light
yeah.
Shine. I love those. I love those songs. I got a very a deeper sense of who Bam is as an artist. From internally. You know what I mean? Not just existentially as a talented creative. But who you are as a person. And I
That's what
think
it
that's
was
what hip
supposed
hop
to
is
do.
supposed to do.
Mhm.
It's supposed to draw you closer to people and then pull you into their experiences so you can relate to them. Like, man, if I ever have that experience, here's where I got something to
Mhm.
draw back up. Or I've had that experience. I'm not the only one.
I
Whatever.
love it when people come up to me at a show and go, that was dope. I need that song. I got somebody I want to tell that to. And I'll be like, yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
for
Or when I
sure.
do Let Your Light Shine, people, they're like, I appreciate that, you know,
Hmm.
because it's so much of it. It's so much
Hmm.
negativity. It's so much. Why everybody got die on the track? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
why we all got ops? Y'all got that
Everybody
many
got
ops.
correct that you got to talk about it on every
On
song.
every song, and then wondering
That's
why
your
you
whole
can't,
life.
why you can't move around outside. You know,
Hmm.
and I'm a firm believer
Or why you got to carry all them weapons that you
that you
claim
claim
you had to.
because you don't
You talking it, you bring it into it, talking it into
bring that
existence.
energy to you. You know, so that always makes me feel because I've had points in my career where I'm just like, oh man, maybe I should flip it. Like, and then I stop myself and go, Bam, no,
That's not you.
because somebody out there listens to you for who you are. And if you tried
Hmm.
that, it would look fake. It's not you.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah,
anybody's don't be
yeah.
knows I
I think every artist eventually goes through some of that where it's like, okay, do I cross this line a little bit? Do I put out a song that's a little more edgy? Sometimes I feel like that, but do I put that out as me? And I've done that myself. I put out an album that I had some songs that were really personal and close to me, like my talent. Then I crossed the line on the edge a little bit,
mm,
just trying to push myself. And then after I did it, I'm like, I like it, but it's not
it's
really
not really
me. I
me.
couldn't follow that up with another
Mm,
project like that because that ain't me, you know.
mm,
And some of that music's still out there. If y'all ever want to go check it out, it's out there. I'm not even going to tell you, but you can go find it. Anyway, let's move on. This ain't about me. This is about Just Bam. You currently host and produce a local broadcast TV show, CultureVille TV. You also served as an interview host for Streets Magazine in the DMV. Talk about some of the highlights of those roles and the opportunities you've gained in those roles.
Oh, I gotta talk about Streets Magazine because that's one of those, in life, You always have experiences where you take a lesson or it gives you something. Working as a writer for Streets Magazine, um, at the time I was a rapper, I was still, you know, making music, chasing a deal, kind of like trying to get on. But getting that job changed my whole perspective of what I was looking for. Because when you work for a magazine, you get to see behind the curtain. You get to talk to the publicists. You see the artists in their natural state. They're more vulnerable with you because you ask questions. And the style that we had at Streets was that they would come and I would just hang out with them for a day and just
Mhm.
ask questions, kind of fill them out. And then, at one point at the day, we would sit down and do a straight back and forth. So, like, I walked in rooms with people I admired and looked up to and really got to see what their life is like, what it's like
Mhm.
being a hip hop artist or being an artist, period. And it opened my eyes to what I wanted. It allowed me to see, when I think about it, okay, one of my best interviews was Big Daddy Kane. And I mean, you got to see it from my perspective. I'm interviewing
Hey, there's
someone
a
that
goat.
I admired so greatly. So there was nothing
Mhm.
wrong he could say. you know,
Right,
there was
yeah.
nothing uncool that he could do. Um,
Mhm.
but he ended up being one of the coolest people ever. Like he was so, you know, informative. If I asked a question where I was like, had maybe had some misinformation, he'd be like, "Yeah, but that ain't really how that went down." I'd be like, "Oh, tell me how it went down." He was like, "This is what happened." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's what it said." Oh yeah, and that was one of my favorites. Probably the wildest one I did was Mob Deep because I walked into that interview with a perception of who they were, and when
Mhm.
they were performing at I think the Howard Theater somewhere in DMV, and my publisher sent me to do the interview, and I walked in the room and it was like a whole mass, a mob of people. They got guns and they all look like killers, and I'm just like, holy shit. And I walk in, I'm like,
Oh, funny.
hey.
Don't show
You know
me
what
your
I'm saying?
shit.
We cool. And it was funny because Prodigy was like, "Yeah, yeah, come on, girl, come and sit down. You good, you good. Anybody gonna message you? They're like, you good, you good." And but
Yeah.
sitting there talking to them boys was so smart. You know, it was like, whoa, okay. You know what I'm saying? I get it.
Mhm.
Just those moments that I got to see what that life is really like for me
Mhm.
and for them. And I learned a lot of things, like, a lot of things about, do you really want to work a deal? This is what that means.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
got to work when you don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you always owe, those little lessons. I interviewed Devin the Dude. That was one of my favorite ones. He taught me how to roll a wood grain. You know, uh,
As Devin the dude
would
would do.
do. Um, and it just so many signature moments. And what that did was it gave me respect beyond
Mhm.
just an artist. People started to pay more attention to what I had to say because they're like, "Oh, she knows what she's talking about. She for real hip hop." But it was
Mhm.
a hustle, like, that was fast, very fast. It's like you're boom, 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 boom. So you learn
Yeah.
to get in. And I guess that's part of the reason why I started CultureVille, because I wanted some sort of platform where I could show all my talented friends. I know so
Mhm.
many talented people who do these great things. And one thing about Nashville is we I don't want to say they don't support black people, but it's just we're here,
No.
everybody else is here. So I was like, how could I have some kind of way that I can showcase all of these talent people that I know? And I
Mhm.
thought, okay, well, that's the best way to do it, to do the television show. And when I started working at NECAT, at first I didn't have a show. I was just direct for other people. And I wanted to see like what kind of shows they had, how do people do their thing. And it was the smartest thing I ever did because now I can everybody if you got an album coming out, come on my show. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
right there for you. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
So we interview everybody. I've had D Revolution on there. You know, he's wrote like 4 books. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's been on there. Profound, ET and him is being on there. Al D, like uh, all of these artists who I just feel like just need a shot, just need a platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I love doing the show. Like it was the smartest, and it's crazy because my son is an adult now, and when he moved out, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do in my life? I don't have anybody to look out for anymore. You know, he's gone. He's doing his own thing, and I was like, I've always wanted to do that, to take the classes and to learn. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do it. What else I got?
Yeah.
And from the day one, they have to drag me out of there now. Like it's like my home away
Yeah.
from home. And I've gotten to a point where I love directing. I love doing the TD work. And it's so funny. I host CultureVille, but I don't want to. I would much rather be in the booth and have
Yeah.
somebody else host the show. I love doing that. So now I get to direct for a lot of people. I just did the Goodlettsville Christmas Parade. I did Juneteenth. We broadcast that live, which was amazing. I'm doing Chinese New Year coming up in February. So it's opened so many doors, not only for me, but for underground hip hop in Nashville, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, you got an album coming out? Come on the show.
Come on the show. Yeah, that's so dope and profound to have that foresight to say, I've been given platforms to expose who I am as an artist, and I've also been employed by platforms who expose artists,
Hmm.
and putting those two together, coming down to Nashville, like there's a pool of talent down here and artists that won't ever get the exposure unless somebody provides a platform for them to get the exposure, which is exactly what Revisit Your Dreams is. This is exactly what this channel is. I did the exact same thing. I know so many talented people. I know so many people that have done things on so many different levels, not just in music, in all walks of life. And so, I think their stories deserve to be told, deserve to be heard, and deserve to be shared and exposed. So that's why I created this platform to do exactly what you're doing with CultureVille TV, is put those people that I know, you being one of them, in front
In
of
front of
other
other
faces
people.
and other, yeah, in front of other eyeballs. And because one, you're talented enough, you deserve it. But two, if we don't do it for one another, who else is gonna like? Where you have Groove Elation Records, in of course, on the music side, they'll support everything that you're doing. And you have Cultureville TV that you can promote
Myself
yourself and the
on.
things that you got going on.
Exactly.
But what about my friends in
Hmm.
California that don't know nothing about Kind of Bam either?
Hmm.
Now some of them
Now
do,
some of them do.
right?
And then I
What
have those
about?
skills. Like I love doing it. So when you come on Cultureville, you're gonna leave with a 30-minute episode of you talking. You can chop up on your whatever. I'm gonna make a promo
Hmm.
reel for you. I'm gonna make and you can go and take those things and use
Hmm.
them. You know, you've got
Yeah.
content that here you go. And when I
Hmm.
first started the show, I was like, people are gonna want to come on my show, but now it's like people want to do it. So
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
And it's great when you get to that point where you have produced a product, or you're producing a product that carries enough value, where you have people now wanting to come on your
wanting to come.
platform. You don't have to reach out so much to I mean, you got to ask people
You
sometimes,
do,
but for the
yeah.
most part, sometimes you got people who just, hey, can I
Can I
can
be
I
on
come on the show?
there? I wrote a
You
book.
know,
You think I could? Yeah, come
yeah.
on.
I mean, I've had people do that. I have upcoming episodes of guests who, have said, "Hey, what's up? I like what you got going on. Can I, be a part of what you're doing?" And I can't wait to bring them on to the show. So, Bam, that's dope. I think,
That's how you
you're.
know you're gonna be successful because you're not doing it because you for you, you know.
Hmm.
Because some people
Hmm.
they make platforms and it's just so they can be exposed.
Yeah.
It's not really about exposing other people. And I just feel like
Yeah,
you
no.
doing this is just like amazing because I get it.
It's something that I enjoy. It's something that I feel like I have some
Hmm.
talent in, but the main reason I'm doing it, I get what I get from it is inner fulfillment.
Mm, me
One
too.
day,
Yeah.
one day YouTube might monetize all this, but
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
If I was waiting on that, I would have been stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not why I'm doing this. I get the fulfillment of meeting with you, talking to you, spending
Right.
time with you, and then editing the episode and releasing it and exposing your talents and gifts to other people and sharing across different platforms my talented friends. That's what I get out of it.
Hmm.
I enjoy
Me
that.
too.
You know what I mean?
And I have a skill set, and it doing the show one is another. It that helps me because I always have a place to be creative. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
it's a constant visual example of because you learn. I get to use my graphicing skills. I get to use my marketing skills. I get to use my promotional skills. I get to edit. I get to direct. I get to, you know, so it's always allowing me to be in my happy
Mhm.
place. That's what I say. But
Mhm.
at the same time, when I put out episodes and people, somebody's mom comments like, "Oh, look at my son, that's so good," and I'm like, "Yeah, look at your son," you know.
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
makes you feel
for
good. It
sure.
just makes you feel good.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. I get that same feeling. So, man, like I said, we could keep talking on that
Mhm.
subject for a matter, but it definitely does make you feel really good to be able to, to give people that platform and not make it about you. Like I really enjoy doing this, but I don't enjoy doing it for me. Like you said, every day you get some every day, like you got something to edit, you got something to
Got something to
produce, you got
produce your
something
food.
like
Yeah.
it's in the vein of creativity all the time. Even when music is not flowing, it keeps you in the vein of creativity, and that's what it does for me mostly. And it helps build my network and build my relationships at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I really like
Yeah, I
about it.
get introduced to different avenues and opportunities. And I get to help introduce other people to different
Hmm.
avenues and opportunities. And then I also love promoting NECAD, promoting the access television because it's something that people don't kind of know about. And whenever somebody comes to do the show and they ask, "Oh, how do you get to do this studio?" Some people don't want to tell. "Oh, this is how you do it. You can come and do a tour. You want me to
Hmm.
sponsor you? I can bring you in. You want me to show you? Here's how you get this. This is how you take the class." And so many people have come through and started classes, and now they're doing their podcast. And now I don't look
Hmm.
at it as competition because you're not gonna make a CultureVille. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. It ain't gonna feature Bam.
Right. You ain't got me on your show. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You don't got
Well, yeah,
Cultureville. You got
yeah.
whatever version of what you got
Whatever
going
you
on,
got
and
going
that's
on.
cool. But it ain't this.
Even with my hosts, like the first few hosts I had, they were friends of mine who always wanted to do that. They've always wanted to be, and that's not necessarily me not have had knowing what to do, but they learned, and I'm teaching them. So now you walk away
Hmm.
with a skill, of
Yeah.
something you wanted to do. So it's
Yeah.
just, and people sleep on it. My show airs. My viewership is like 70,000
Wow.
weekly.
Yeah. Not that I didn't know, but that's great to know,
Yeah.
for sure. Make sure that we get the information. If there's a can people access your show from online,
Yeah.
Cultureville
After it
TV?
airs on the network, I put it on YouTube on my YouTube channel, so all my past
Okay.
episodes are there. And then
So let's make sure we get that information because I want to put it in the description so that people can click on that link and go to Cultureville
yeah,
TV.
yeah, yeah. So my show airs on Thursdays at 6, and then they gave me two. And another great thing about CultureVille is that before CultureVille was launched up, they probably had 4 or 5 black producers on the entire network,
Hmm.
and my show got a 6 o'clock time slot on a Thursday. They never did that before, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like, ooh, it's doing so many things. So yeah, like so then they gave me another slot. So now I come on Thursday at 6, Saturday at 9:30, and on Tuesdays. So I have 3 days that it airs.
Wow. That's some. Is it the same show that airs, or are you producing different shows?
Well, how what it is when you upload it, I premiere it on the Thursday, and then I let it run on all three slots for a week, and then
Oh,
it
okay, I
goes
got
back
you.
into rotation. So it
But
just
that's
keeps
still
flowing. It
it's
keeps
still dope
playing.
that it
Yeah,
gets
it keeps
yeah
playing.
it gets the exposure multiple times throughout the week as
Hmm.
opposed to just that one airing.
And then it goes on the
Yeah,
YouTube channel, but it stays on there. So like every day or every day I air, something's airing, so they just go back through the rotation and it starts over. So you're constantly. And I've been at
you
the
have
Chinese
content.
place.
Yeah,
I've been at like different little stores, and they have access on. I go, oh, that's my show.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's dope. Yeah, for sure. And it's TV, man. That's dope. I'm inspired by you, Bam. Like really, truly, I am. Um, Moving on, hip hop is now just over 50 years old. There have been some great and even iconic artists that have released classic music through the years. But we all have our personal favorites. So, who have been some of the artists that have inspired your journey and your love for hip hop throughout the years? I know you mentioned Big Daddy Kane, threw out KRS One's name earlier, but who have been some of the artists that have inspired your journey throughout the years?
MC Light,
Like dope.
number one. When I remember being in middle school and I knew every lyric to every paper thin.
I did. Real talk, I did too. As a kid from Vallejo, California, in the Bay Area, I was all over MC
I was
Light,
all over.
man. Her that whole album, I had the album. I had all her lyrics memorized.
Even
Cha
her
cha,
now,
everything.
even like to see her career, I'm like that's can I get that? That's
Mm-hmm.
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
You managed to stay relevant and move into something else, and now you're the voice everyone hears on every,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Definitely have to put her in
Award
there. Award
show and
shows, and you do your thing. Got to put her in there. I got to put
mm-hmm.
Rakim in there. That's like that's my god. Um, Kara's one I mentioned. Who else? Let me think. That was like
Teacher.
now I have to say Salt and Pepper because me and every talent show in school we Salt and Pepper. I swear,
I think every girl that performed in a talent show during those days at least one time did salt and
man,
pepper
we
routine.
did it every time. We you could tell us. Sometimes I be Salt, sometimes she'll be Salt, I be Pepper. We knew the videos by heart. We knew the songs by heart, like Tramp and Let's
Yeah.
Talk About Sex. All of that we used to
Mm-hmm.
do that. So I have to put them in there, and then I don't know. For me, like hip hop is so intertwined in everything that I think about. I've always been I've been a big Busta Rhymes fan since he was in Leaders of the New School because
Yes.
that energy, like how you do that.
Yeah.
I'm always in awe of him, and but yeah, I'm gonna say yeah.
LONS.
Growing out, I will say this: before every battle, I used to sit in the car and listen to Red Man Tales from the Dark Side and get myself hyped up.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
would be one
saying?
of the ones.
I be,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
for
I
real.
would sit
Yeah.
in the car and just blast that album. I played that CD so much, like I had to rebuy it because I had played it so much. I've
Let
always
my
been a
tape
Redman
rock
fan,
till my tape pop.
right? I've always been and you can hear that in my music. Like I say, so many Redman lyrics. Um, Growing up and but yeah, like I think I've gone through the changes with hip hop too because if I was gonna go through the 2090 era, I'm gonna say Foxy Brown.
Mm-hmm.
She's dope.
Foxy
People
as
don't
well.
even know
Foxy as
half
well.
the stuff she be saying. They couldn't even put it together. You know,
Yeah.
I feel
Foxy
like
as
Lauren
well.
Hill is somebody I like I like the Fugees Lauren Hill, of course. But a
Mm-hmm.
miseducation of Lauren Hill as a female, you can't not put that in your list of things that changed your world.
Right.
Um, and then, as I raise up even more, I just like a good MC. I ain't gonna even stunt. If you got skills, I'm gonna listen to it. Like my son now, he knows the words to song. Like we'll be in the car and he'll be saying it. He's like, "How I know this song?" And like, yeah, because you don't listen to that every road trip for all your life. You know, that's why you
Right.
know that song. You don't even
Yeah.
know why you know that song. You're like,
Exactly.
I know this song. I'm like, yeah,
You've been hearing that since you was two.
since
You
you
didn't
was
even
two
know
and you ain't even know it. So always, and then like I came up in an era, especially here in Nashville, and you might remember in during the Outcast organized noise type of era, we had that nostalgia about us here.
it.
There were multiple different groups, and everybody hung together. We used to be click universal, and we would support each other, and we would. It was a culture. It was a community. It
Hmm.
was something you wanted to be a part of. And I wish we could get that back.
Yeah.
I think that would
Yeah.
change people's opinion a lot because it was more than just, oh, I'm an artist, you are artist, you are artist. It was a
Hmm.
culture.
It was a culture. You know what I think, and this is just from me being a producer, music producer. Some of that used to be something that happened kind of organically in hip hop when
Hmm.
producers would put together compilation albums.
They don't do
You
that no
know,
more.
and I man, I so want to do that. And I'm really,
Oh,
I was thinking about that other
you
day. I
should
so
not do
want to
it.
do a compilation with you,
I would
with
be on that.
Just, with
Yeah, me and Just on the
oh
phone.
man,
Oh,
oh my God, like and so many other artists, man. Oh man, I would love to do
I'm
that.
in.
2026. All right, all right.
I'm
Enough
coming. I'm
said on
coming to
that
the
front.
Bay. You know my production team is from
I
the
ain't
Bay.
in the Bay. I'm in Murfreesboro now.
Oh well, I'm coming. Oh,
I'm in Murfreesboro
oh
now. You
no,
ain't got to
you
come to
ain't
the
said
Bay
with a word. I'm rolling out. When we
for
hooking up?
sure,
Like, oh yeah,
for sure. I got a booth right there,
let's go. Matter of fact, we need
for
to talk
sure.
after this. You want to produce a song?
Let's talk.
We should talk after this. I didn't
For
know you were
sure,
that
let's
close.
talk. For sure, let's talk. All right, so speaking of that, that's a perfect segue. What is your take on 40 and 50-year-olds still desiring to produce and release their music in today's music economy?
Okay,
I know that's a convoluted one,
I'm
but
a convoluted one because I'm not gonna lie. I lie about my age, and I always have. Okay, and it's not because I'm a shit. I'm like embarrassed to be whatever age because I think that all that you should stop rapping after 30. That's bullshit. I agree. We
yeah,
don't tell rockers that they have to stop after 30. You can go see Grateful Dead live on stage and they in they 70s,
70, 80,
80s.
yeah.
Frankie Beverly was on tour when he passed away. And he was 75 years old. So why do we put an age? There's not an age bracket on when you can stop listening to hip hop. So
Right.
why does that matter? But I know the masses now it's trending to not care, but people care. So
Hmm.
I've always been very conscious in my career not to lead with my age,
Hmm.
especially after I got over 25, you know,
Yeah.
because it's a stigmatism. But I
Hmm.
feel like, I can't not make music. It's like just because I got older don't mean my brain don't think of rap lyrics. It doesn't mean
Hmm.
that I'm not creative. It doesn't mean that it Now, I do believe that your music should grow with you.
Hmm.
So if you're in your 40s and you're making music talking about you in the trap and you got the AK and you finna burn down the block, you lying.
Exactly.
Okay? So I feel like that part, I don't like when artists try to play into the younger crowd. Be what you talking about. Cause make me an album about how you work 40 hours, how your teenage kids are annoying as hell. You know what I'm saying? Tell me about real life. Because
Hmm.
if you think about it, people our age are looking still for music. We don't stop buying music because we get older.
Right. Yeah.
So
We are babies of hip hop, so don't you think,
we growing
we
too.
we grew and we still listen
We
to hip
still
hop.
listen.
People like why y'all old people still in. That's what we grew up on. We created
Do you go
it.
tell somebody why they still listen to blues?
Right.
Do you ask them why? I mean, I still listen to Duke Ellington. So am I
Hmm.
too old for jazz? You know,
Right.
why do we put that on our genre? And I want to say Redman or Method Man or somebody said this, like, hip hop is the only genre of music that puts age classifications on it. No other
Hmm.
genre does that. So
Yeah.
why?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get back to that. Why do we do that?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense to me at all. But I cannot say that I don't conform to it because I know there is a stigmatism. So I do hide my age.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with not exposing your age because it's at the end of the day, that's really not what it's about. It's
Mhm.
about the song.
Not
It's
the
about the
song.
music. It's about the talent. It's about the individual in their life. But again, when people look at like myself, like if I was to release music right now, which I plan on releasing some in the future, I'm not dyeing my beard just because I got gray hairs. This is experience and this is me. Now I know some people might look at that and say, "What is this old dude doing, trying to produce music or trying to come out with music?"
But
But
my answer to
when you
that is you're
listen,
not talking to them.
exactly, I'm not. If you asking, "What am I doing?"
I'm not talking to
I'm
you.
not the. You ain't my
You ain't my
audience.
audience.
You're not my audience because the people that I'm talking to look like me.
Uh huh.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna see
And
that
I'm
and be
making
like,
music
all
for
right, look,
them.
he got a new album. I'm gonna go buy. Yeah, I'm not. If that's the way I enter it. If you are questioning it, then I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, yeah,
Because why do we even
for
care?
sure.
Why does it even matter? Why does it matter?
Hmm.
And I think that goes back to we forgot what hip hop is. We
Hmm.
forgot because if you go back to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Wild Styles, those people in those movies were not 12;
Yeah,
they were 20 something.
yeah,
What? Why do we feel like there's an age gap, a cap on it?
yeah.
I don't get that part.
I don't either. I don't understand that. And then the younger people who feel like there should be a cap, if you if they put themselves in the shoes of the people that they're trying to cap, then that means you don't have a career, you got a moment.
Hmm.
Because at some point you're gonna age
You're gonna
yourself
age
out.
yourself out, and your music isn't timeless.
Right,
No one's
exactly.
gonna pull your album out in 20 years and be like, "This still hits." I could go get
Yep.
All Eyes on Me right now,
Right
put it in
now.
play, and it be
Start to
relevant,
finish.
and it
Yeah,
still
and it be
be
relevant.
relevant.
Yeah.
So those people, I think that's the one thing about hip hop that I would love. If you 10 years from now, we ain't gonna have no classics.
Right.
Where are the classics?
It's just gonna be just, I'll call it dump music. It's
Mhm.
just, we just dumping music out and then it's wasting us. The next day, the next week is on to
Something
something
else.
else.
Yeah.
You know.
So I just
We got to start making. That's why it's important for people, in our age demographic and people who are hip hop, connoisseurs from the beginning. And when I say the beginning, just the beginning of their experience with music, like it's always been about that. We are the ones who got to help bring it back.
and I
You
think
know.
we need to educate. Because and
Hmm.
honestly, I think MCs needs to start holding people accountable like we used to.
In what way?
And I mean, like, if you were an MC and you walked into a room full of hip hop heads, you're not just gonna come in there and spend a bunch of mumbo jumbo jumbo because they gonna check you
Mm,
on it.
yeah,
We
that
stop
way.
checking people. We
Yeah,
stop allowing it to be like, hey, that's whack. What you want? You know,
yeah,
Nobody's accountable
yeah.
anymore. And then I feel like we've taken to the point where the the thing that we wanted hip hop to be, we've allowed the mainstream to control it. They control the
Hmm.
message. They control the narrative. That was the point
Hmm.
to get
Yeah,
out of that. So let's go back to checking people. Let's do that. I
yeah.
feel like if we start doing that, because like I remember, I wouldn't go in a room full of MCs thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna say whatever," you know,
Yeah.
because you knew they'd be like, "You ain't no MC. What you say?
Exactly. Just by what you're saying, I don't even care how you saying
What?
it. You
Like
know.
what?" And I think what hip hop has always been the place where you can get love. People come in ciphers all the time. They not really, they ain't profound, but they in the cipher. They doing it. So I think they use hip hop too much as a as the cousin group. That's why I call it. You know, everybody
Yeah.
gets to be in the cousin group.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to the. Yeah, I think we're gonna be all
I
right. I
think
think
so.
hip hop is making a way back.
Hmm.
I think there's enough purists and culturalists of the genre that want to see it flourish. In the conversation, like you said about hip, there are people rock artists and other artists, jazz artists that are doing it to their 80s and 90s. Like that thought makes hip hop, I think expands hip hop, expands the notion that is not hip hop is not dead and it
Not a
doesn't end when
trend.
you're 25.
Yeah,
When you turn 30, you got to shut the mic down. I don't think that's
and I think
I
we
don't
need to
think that's
stop
even
selling.
wise to consider.
We need to stop selling that
Like,
narrative because you're putting hip hop in a box now.
yeah. And that's why people are saying too, segmentation a little bit. Like, okay, maybe we need to have some classification in hip hop. Maybe there needs to be a conscious hip hop category. There
Oh,
needs to be a
take
this
it
type
out.
of category.
Yeah,
Or they need to take everything out and it's just hip hop.
I think
But right now, when you lump everything into hip hop, that's I think what
that's the
skews it a little
problem.
bit because some of this stuff is not hip
That's
hop.
the
Like you
problem.
said, it's
Mm,
pop. It's disguised as hip hop. It's murder music disguised as hip hop. That ain't murder. Hip hop ain't never been about murder music
right.
ever. It's always about life and uplift. It ain't never been about that.
And
So
and when
to
people
still
get
call that hip hop
killed in hip hop, we make a song promoting non-violence. We don't make a song talking about the killer.
or about what we about to do in
That's
retaliation,
not what we did. That's not what we did.
mm-mm,
I, I,
no,
I just that part of they're so numb to
mm-hmm,
it now, and I just like we need to change these narratives, people, because we're not paying attention. Where's Chuck D?
yeah, yes,
We need Chuck
we're,
D to come out, and which he is, I, but
mm-hmm,
I think they hear us. You know what I mean? I
mm-hmm.
think they listening now.
It's starting to penetrate.
And the
It's
good
starting to
part about it
penetrate.
is we now control the narrative. We are the executives.
Mm-hmm.
We are the people in those positions who the people writing hip hop articles are hip hop heads. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's going to turn the needle a lot because now we are taking on those positions in a place
Mhm.
of power where we can make decisions like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, we this has been fun. We're not done yet, but this has been fun and it's starting to get a little lengthy, but I don't mind. I enjoy this conversation. I'm having a great time, but I do have a couple more
Okay.
for you. We're gonna have some a little bit of fun before we end the show.
Okay.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about hip hop culture and all that, but we're gonna play some games right now. All right.
Alrighty.
So bam. Let's have some fun. You are a product of DC
Hmm.
and you currently reside in Nashville, Tennessee, right? But you spend time in Cleveland, Ohio, in Jersey, PA. I mean, in Jersey, in PA, in Atlanta, in the DMV. So, since you have such a variety of life experiences in these cities, we are going to let you tell us who got it. Time for another round of
Okay.
who
Who
got it.
got it?
All right.
Okay. Already. Okay.
All right. So I hope you're ready for
Okay.
this one. All right, man. So you're from
Hmm.
DC. You currently live in Nashville, but you also spent time in PA and Jersey, ATL in Florida. So we're gonna regionalize your segment since you lived in so many places. I usually do, 3 cities, but you've been lived in so many cities. We just gonna regionalize your
Okay.
segment.
Okay.
So welcome to the hip hop edition of Who Got It. We need to know who got it out of the DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South.
Okay. That's a good one. Yeah. Because
DMV, Jersey,
yeah.
PA,
Uh-huh.
or the Dirty South.
Okay.
All right. Not everyone has been to the DMV. Not everyone watching has been to the Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South. So it's on you to educate the viewers out there tonight. So who got it? The DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South? Who got the best culture for indie artists?
Dirty South. because I get way more opportunities in the Dirty South than I do in the DMV or Jersey, PA, and those are difficult markets to break into. I feel like in the Dirty South, you can find a venue to perform open mics, all that kind of things happen.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna pick Dirty South. Sorry, DMV
The Dirty South is heavily includes ATL,
and Nashville
you
and
know, but
Alabama.
Nashville for sure is part of it.
Yeah,
Alabama, Florida, a little bit in there, you know.
I
Um,
they're more reception. They don't. You don't. It's not about your status as
mhm.
much. I feel just because there's a glass ceiling in DMV, and I've always fought the glass ceiling in PA and New Jersey, but I've never had to fight the glass ceiling in the Dirty South.
That's dope. So the Dirty South got the best is the best culture for independent
Independence.
artists. That's dope. And I would agree with that. Even coming from California, like you know,
Yeah.
California now, you know, we had to do in the Bay Area, in my hometown of Vallejo, we had to build our own. Just like that's why LaRussell people are respecting LaRussell because he's doing it definitely organically. But he got that from E40 and Mac Dre, Too
Mhm.
Short from Oakland.
Mhm.
Like, you know, it all came out of that, selling it out the trunk,
Selling
you
out your
know, doing
truck,
it regionally, doing
hustle,
it, you know,
grind.
on the block, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. So best culture for indie artists is Dirty South. All right, the next one. Who got it? DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South? Where is the best place to perform a live show?
Mm. Ooh. I gotta go with the DMV
All
because I'm
right.
a child of go go.
Go, go.
And one of my dreams is to be up there with a band and do a live show. And because I come from theater and all those things, we have some of the best concert halls with the best acoustics in my brain.
Mhm.
So a live show, a live show at the Lincoln Theater with a go-go band behind me would be a dream.
Very specific. I love that answer because it's so specific. I mean, you didn't just say, "Hey, you know, it would be cool to perform in the DMV. I know people out there. You know, I get support." I mean, you went down to the type of venues and concert
Yeah.
halls and the acoustics in the building. That's dope. I appreciate that response so much. You know, performing a live show, like it's not just about where you think you would get the most reception. You took it down to where the show would actually turn out the
Hmm.
best at. You
And in
know.
DMV, when you go to shows, we talk back to you. You know, you sing, we hey, sing it, baby. You know, they give you that. And that's why I think people like performing there because we coming, we back, we with you the whole ride.
Yeah.
And I just love that about my city. I love that about
So you heard her vision. You know, she said, "I want to be performing at." She named the specific venue,
that.
exactly with a live band playing behind her. Like that's vision. You know, and that's where somebody says, "I would like this to come to pass." Well, that's a dream. Okay. Well, let's work our life till we get to
Till we
that
get to
point
that
because that's
point.
something I want to do one day.
Right.
So that's
Let's
what this
get
show is
there.
all
Yeah,
about, inspiration
that would be a full circle moment because the first play I ever did was at the Lincoln Theater,
to do it again, a hip hop show. That's
and it'd be
dope.
about
That would
me.
be
I'm
dope.
on the marquee.
Yeah, yeah. All right, excuse me. All right, who got it? The DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South? Which area has the deepest hip hop culture all around?
Jersey, PA, hands down. My hip hop experience started there, and I can take it back down to the grassroots. You know, people always say the Bronx and Queens, but for me, Jersey, PA. I'm I grew up, from Newark.
Hmm.
That hip hop is so everything there. We don't even there is no line. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
There's no here's the hip hop community. That's all it is.
Yeah,
So, gotta go with that. Gotta go. The
go with
history, the
Jer.
respect of
Yeah,
understanding the pillar. Like people still walk down the street preaching, the five elements of hip hop. You know what I'm
fine.
saying?
Yeah,
Gotta go with them.
that's I wouldn't. You know, I didn't know where you were gonna go with that, but because you could have, you know, depending on who you're asking, but depending on their experience, it could have been eight. You know, ATL Dirty
Depends on
South.
where
It could
you're
have
at.
been DMV. So, definitely if New York was part of the question, people would probably
Say
might
that.
choose that. But Jersey, PA, there's a lot of artists, a lot of hip hop culture that comes from there. A lot of artists that come, and people don't even know. People lump New Jersey artists in with New York artists a
It's
lot,
different.
and a lot of
It's
times,
very different.
yeah.
It's different. And I feel like, especially with Jersey, PA, it's more of a renaissance of you know culture itself, because it's always been about the art, and it's not just about music. So when you
hmm
say hip hop culture, I'm thinking all of it, not just
hmm
music.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, so the deepest hip hop culture all around goes to Jersey, PA.
Yeah.
All right, who got it? The DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South? Which area is the most fashionable?
Oh, DMV, hands down.
D-
Gotta say DMV. They be mad. I mean, I'm saying
Sorry, ATL, the Mike
sorry.
T's ain't cutting
But
it.
but if you go look at ATL, because I used to live in ATL, and this is why I'm going to say this.
hmm
I used to live in ATL, and I used to go to DC and buy clothes from the different Madness shops, because DC is very known for, we have our own independent fashion. We have
hmm
Madness, DDTP. If you're not from, you probably don't know what these things are, but our culture is built around wearing and fashion and clothes and the looks. And I saw a lot of people from DC would move to Atlanta and then bring our style, and then they changed it a
hmm
little bit, but it's still. And then growing up, especially in the 2000s, I just felt like all the new trends, they would come out of the DMV, because
hmm
DMV is very specific in its fashion. you know,
Yeah,
Within the DMV it's specific. Someone from Southeast doesn't dress like someone from Northwest, even
hmm
though the DMV is like this. You
they're still
know,
regionally, yeah.
like I can go home and be walking down the street and see a person. Oh, he's from Northeast, just by
Just by what they're
just by what
wearing.
they're wearing. hmm
Yeah, and
And
how they dress. That's dope.
and I still incorporate the DMV into my style of fashion now. Um, like
hmm
Parasuco jeans, we that came out with, now they call them the tight jeans that the girls are wearing, but we had those in the 80s.
hmm
We used to call them Parasucos. You know, um, I remember when I got my first pair of 5411 Reeboks. They weren't on songs then, but now every girl wants some Reeboks,
Most were Reeboks.
and that
DMV was
DMV,
the
that
cultural
was
place
the
for
thing. Yeah, that was what you did. Your boyfriend would buy you a chain and some 5411s.
it.
You know,
Culture right there. I love those stories. That's dope. So, all right, the most fashionable
mm-hmm.
is the
Gotta
DMV.
give it to
All right,
V.
we got one more, but we got the best culture for indie arts. The best culture for indie arts was the Dirty South. The best place to perform a live show was the DMV. The deepest hip hop culture all around, Jersey, PA.
Mm-hmm.
The most fashionable, DMV. So we got one more. Who got it? The DMV, Jersey, PA, or the Dirty South? Which area has the best overall music archive?
In hip hop or just overall?
Um, Overall, I mean, hip hop is heavily included in it, of course, but or if knowing the artists from these areas, knowing the iconic albums from these artists, you know, if you okay, put it this way, let me ask you it in a different way. You're on a deserted island by yourself for 1 year, and you can only bring albums from artists from one of these three areas. Which area you choose?
Dirty South. If you put it like that, Dirty South. Because I
All
could
right.
go in a record store and pull and collect a bunch of albums from Dirty South artists and get a little bit of everything. Even
hmm
if I stuck with hip hop. I could get some jazz hip hop. I could get some jazz infusion. I could get some EDM. I could get some, you know, I think with the DMV especially, uh, our sound is specific, and I think with PA New Jersey, like when I thought about it in my brain, like what album would I go get if I had like 30 seconds to go in the record store and pull everything? I'm gonna get the Roots. I'm gonna get,
Hmm.
Lost Boys. But if I go in that same 30 seconds and I can only pull Dirty South, I'm getting a lot.
You gotta just grab a whole handful of albums,
Yeah, I could.
and you're gonna get a mixture.
I could go all the way down, and if we're including Houston and New Orleans and all those places, oh yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely gotta say
yeah.
Dirty. When it comes to timeless classics consistently over a 10-year basis, we gotta get into the Dirty South.
So that's dope, man. I thank you for participating in this episode
This is
of Who Got
so
It, Bam.
fun.
That was very challenging, but the best culture for indie artists went to the Dirty South. The
Yeah.
best place to perform a live show went to the DMV. The deepest hip hop culture all around went to Jersey, PA. The most fashionable went to the DMV, and the best music archive all around went to the Dirty South. That is Bam's hip hop edition list of Who Got
Got
It. So thank you for
it.
thank you for participating. That was fun. I enjoyed that. It was a little different than how I normally do it to
Those are
one
good
individual
questions,
city. So
though.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fun. I love doing that. I love doing that with my guest Bam. So that was fun. I enjoyed doing that with you. All right, so we're gonna get you out here on this one. All right. Um, if you were to give a TED talk to a room of independent hip hop artists,
Mhm.
all over the age of 40,
Mm.
what message are you pushing out to encourage them today?
Don't worry about what other people say. Just stay consistent. Um, if I was for artists over 40, don't be concerned of what the trend is. Be you. You know, trends come and go. You are timeless. Um, and the last thing I would definitely say is learn your craft. And I don't mean learn how to rap. I mean go read a book about points, royalties, streaming, how you get paid, how to book a show, how to do this. I think a lot of us have so much access to create that we forget the business.
Hmm.
And mhm, mhm, yes. Yeah, I have that book in several editions now because they every time they come up with a new edition, I get it. You know,
Hmm.
read. Uh, they and now the information is so readily available. Like you could take a whole Coursera course on music business now for free. I
Hmm.
think that with older artists, we are so stuck in the underground, and sometimes we will make music and we'll just put it up, but we forget to register. We forget to go sign into our artist pages. We forget to go check our royalties. We forget. So I think that would be my biggest message. Stick to the business. Make your
Yeah,
brand a business, and
that's
you'll
a
think.
that's a great word. Yeah, because um, that last thing you said was the business part of it. All older artists will just put it out,
Mhm. Mhm.
but not follow through with the details that's going to get the exposure or the money.
Right.
You
Right.
know, because it's not all about money. It's about the passion. It's about the art. It's about, expression. But at the end of the day, you're also doing this so that you can keep doing it.
Exactly.
And you need a little bit of money to
To
support
support
you being
you.
able to keep doing
And
it.
if you do things
You know?
correctly, you'll start to see. Because that's why I hate when people, oh, well, nobody's listening to my music. But are you putting it in? Is it registered? Are you putting yourself in playlists? You can go sign up for this thing right here. They'll put you on the radio for free. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
just don't put it out. I get it. Put it out. Share it.
Yeah.
But dig a little deeper.
Yeah. That's a good word. So if you're out there and you're over 40 and you're still doing music, don't
Don't
stop.
stop.
Just ramp it up. Put some more gas in the
Mhm.
tank. You know what I mean?
Hell, let's
Put
all
some
get
more air
together,
in
have
that
us an
tire.
old people party. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Do a whole concert. If you ain't 40, you can't come in. Let's see how they like that. You know?
Yeah, for really change the
Change the
standard for
standard.
real,
Like,
huh?
yeah, forget
Yeah, that's
25 and
dope. That's dope,
over.
man.
So, and then another thing I also would say, stop worrying about what's going on. Go look at your analytics. Look at your targeted market. I know the
Hmm.
age bracket of my market. I'm marketing, so I'm catering to them. So I'm not concerned what a Gen Z, what a 17-year-old said. You're not in my
That part.
market. You're 3% of my
That
market.
part.
Not worried about you.
Exactly. And that's not so it's not gonna slow my
No,
momentum down at all. It ain't gonna make me turn left or right. I'm still
nope.
headed straight down the
I,
course I was heading on, whether y'all talking or not talking, whether y'all supporting or
of
not
course.
supporting, because y'all really not my demographic.
And
I appreciate it,
yeah, I
the
appreciate it.
support, but
And
that's not who I'm shooting
and a
for.
lot of people don't look at that. They're looking at the views and the clicks. Go look at your analytics. Look at
Hmm.
that. So what? You got 1,000 followers, but out of that 1,000 followers, 48% of them are women. 35% of them are over 35. Make reels for those people.
Exactly. And learn why those
Are
people in
are
that
attracted
specific
to you.
demographic are attracted to your
Cater to
music.
them. Cater to the
Yeah.
ones who support you. Don't try to grab people who are not in your lane. You know.
Yeah. Dope word. Dope word, Just Bam. This has been a great episode. I've had a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
is
fun
so
time with
fun.
you. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. The floor is yours if you want to tell them where to find you, how to find CultureVille TV, where to look for your art. Let us know. The floor is yours.
Mm. Okay. I will leave you with this. My new album comes out in 2026, and I hope that from this album you will see that I'm elevated, step my game up a little bit, and I am so a part of this culture that you could never get rid of me. That's my hope for my audience. And then, oh, I'm gonna leave you with this. This is the second verse of my new song called Listen. Is that cool? Can I do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Goes like this. Verse 2. We gonna keep it nonchalant. Spitting game on your block if you're ready or not. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. Where you gonna be? On the smooth tip, sipping sweet tea. The buttered pecan Rican has the keys to NYC. No need to self destruct. Next up, Miss Melanie. A dash of salt and pepper is very necessary, so I add a motherfucker so these mumbling niggas hear me. It goes in my head as just chit chatter, but you're loving the light, so it really doesn't matter. All hell the queen, 'cause you gotta let 'em know you can't play with my yo yo. I'm not a bitch or a hoe. Roxanne's revenge had you shook. I'm that Foxy Brown chick that shot you in the remix. A sister soldier book, a raw digger, and a boss. A misdemeanor brat with a patch on my left eye.
That's so raw. That is so cool. You know, at first, when you first started, I was like, I don't know where she's going, but man, if you are a hip hop, if you follow hip hop, if you don't know what she just talked about, some of the names of some of the female artists she mentioned by name. Some of them she only mentioned by a lyric, a
Mm-hmm.
line, a metaphor. And so I'm like, oh, that's Light. Oh, that's Queen Latifah. Oh, that's Raw Digger. Oh, that is so. I love that, Bam. I really love that's creativity. That's talent. That's
Thank
taking your
you.
time
And thinking of
that's
that.
taking your time to weave, multiple different thoughts into one.
They're
Yep,
all verses from their song, except for that
that's dope.
last recap part. And it was so crazy
I add
because when I
another.
was
So
making it, I wrote
hear me.
down I needed 16 bars, so I wrote down 16 female MCs. And I was like, I'm gonna give every
Okay.
MC a bar, right? And then
Hmm.
as I started, I was like, ooh, I'm missing people. So I said, nope, don't do that, Bam. Just go with it. And then after I listened to it, I think I invoke all of that. You know,
Yeah, I
that's who
think
I
you do.
am. I'm all those people rolled into one.
And that's another thing that I saw and I heard when you were saying, I was like, this sounds like Bam describing herself through other people.
Hmm.
That's dope.
But the fact that you
That's
thought the
dope.
nerd, oh, that's great. So
For sure, for sure.
I
I mean, I'm hip hop too. So and it hit like it makes sense and it's relevant and it's dope. It's talented. So Bam, I love that so much. I thank you for sharing. Like that's the first time I ever had. I've interviewed. I think you're the you're the fourth artist that I've interviewed, but the first artist that ever spit some bars on here.
Uh
So
oh.
that's dope. Shout out to Just
Well,
Bam.
Bam. When I get the
Shout out to
song next week,
Bam.
I'm gonna email it to you too, so you can tell me
Okay,
what you think.
please do. And we got to link up on that production
Yeah.
effort.
And now that you're local, I'm gonna harass you. You're coming on the show now. Oh,
I'm here. Let me
I
know.
want to do a show about
I would
producers,
love to.
and I think you
Okay,
have great insight on that production.
I would love to. I would love to. So thank you for that opening that door. I would love to do that. But man, this has been fun. This has been great, audience. I thank you for watching. I thank you for tuning in to this episode. We hope to inspire you. If you're a hip hop fan, I hope that we've expanded and broadened, your love for the genre through Just Bam's interview today. I hope I brought somebody to the forefront to you that you can expand your musical base. Go check out her music, her album. Even though she released "Who I Am," that her first solo album in 2015, when she talked a lot about timeless music. That is a timeless album. Still, I was bumping that album just the other day, and it's bumping like it's relevant and it's dope. So go check out "Who I Am." You can find it. I found it on YouTube Music, but I'm sure it's on
So all,
Spotify and everywhere
yep,
else you
so
listen
on
to
all
music, all the
streaming
streaming platforms.
platforms. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
J
Do
U.
you have a website,
I
Bam?
do. It's JusBam. No T. People always put T. JusBam. That's my website. JustBam.com. You can find my old music on all streaming platforms under Just Bam. You can go to my YouTube channel and I have commentary, some videos from my MTV experience, and then I did we didn't dip into it, but I have another album called Working Contradiction that has used me up and instructions on it. You can go listen to that. So and then make sure you follow me so you can see all the new stuff.
Where they following you at? They following you where?
Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. It's rapper Just Bam. You can follow me on Facebook. It's also Just Bam. You can Google Just Bam, and it'll direct you to a bunch of
That part.
because I'm on Pandora. I'm on Deezer. On Shazam.
Reverb
I'm
Nation.
on
Oh, well, you
SoundCloud.
everywhere.
Oh, like I love my SoundCloud family. So if you're on SoundCloud, look me up. I will follow you. I will, promote your music. I will use your music in my commercials for my show. So I'm all about it.
Y'all heard it first. Y'all heard it here first. It's really Just Bam everywhere. JusBam. No spaces, no dash, nothing. Just Google Just Bam, JusBam, and
Bring it all up.
everywhere she's visible, you'll find it. So this has been fun. Thank
Thank
you so much,
you. Yeah.
Bam. I really enjoyed this time. We got to get together.
Yeah.
Hang on real tight for a moment. After this, we're going to share some information. But thank you guys, audience, for watching this episode. I hope you were inspired. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Please share this episode with somebody you know who is into music, into culture, into hip hop, and into expressing themselves culturally through fashion, through words, through dance, through theater. Like this is an episode that someone like in those veins might get something from. So thank you for subscribing and sharing, and we'll see you on another episode of the Revisit Your Dreams podcast real soon. One love.
One love.
We out.